speaker. Engela Minshull. That's perfect, right?
Yes.
She's our guest speaker, who's come from Langley in South London somewhere, or Southwest. Engela is a success coach. She's done lots of travelling, especially recently, with regards to supporting people to be the best they can be and to progress themselves as individuals and in business. And you're going to share some of those tools and information with us today. Yeah, so Engela.
I'm so grateful for the crotch of the podium. It takes me back many years to when I used to lecture, and those days when you're perfectly prepared and you just put on a video. Do you still do that now?
No!
You don't? First of all, before I start, I really just wanted to say thank you to all of you here because you feel so welcome. I feel so honoured. The women that I've met this afternoon, every single speaker here has impressed upon me just once again, as Dr. Maya Angelou so succinctly said, we are more the same than we are different. But she said another thing to me, which I think on my life has made the greatest impression, and that was, when you get, give, and when you learn, teach. And I must just say something to Dr. Professor who spoke so succinctly and just introduced me to a new author who I can't wait to read. I may be up half the night.
In the car you'll be reading.
I think you've done Muhammad Ali proud this afternoon. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And didn't his speech do just that?
Yes.
The world is going to be saved by the Western woman, the Dalai Lama said. We are the ones who have been called, and we have to get that. The only prison for us is within our minds. When Aprils approached me to speak at International Women's Day, I decided to take a look at the strategies that has propelled me to success in various different industries. And today we're going to take a look at brand you, preparing for success. I'd like to talk about investment and return, self-knowledge and attainable aspirations. And I'm particularly happy to see that there's so many women business owners here this afternoon, and also welcome to the millennials, because you are our future. Research shows that the impression is formed within the first 45 seconds of meeting someone. And I know we've already talked about appearance this afternoon, but unfortunately, as a society, we attach about 55% of what we think of someone to what they look like. Voice accounts for about 38%, and skills and what you say, only about 7%. I enjoyed an early career with my own radio show, and at the age of 21, I was working as Master of Ceremonies and Fashion Show Compare. And at 25, I became the face of South African Broadcasting Corporation as the youngest ever news presenter or news anchor that they've ever had. I interviewed many professionals, but I think the one, and icons of our time, but the one individual that stands out to me amongst all of those is where I had the privilege at 6 o'clock one Saturday afternoon to be presenting television news when Nelson Mandela was released from prison. And I was very privileged and very humbled at a very young age of only 27 to interview him later on and to experience the profound love and forgiveness, which already has been mentioned here this afternoon in various different ways. I went on and completed a master's degree in business leadership and started lecturing over a period of 10 years at 3 different different graduate schools of business. And in 1997, I drew up a business plan for personal marketing with the individual as the product or unique brand. In 2000, an edition of the Harvard Business Review stated that the fundamental unit of the new economy is not the corporation, but the individual. And I think progressively from there we've seen, especially our social media, has impacted, but has also empowered us as individuals to work across boundaries and around the world. And as an individual to be able to impact not just our community, but also the broader community out there. To bring it home, Zig Ziglar stated that people may buy you and not the product, but they're not going to buy a product unless they first buy you. So this afternoon, I want you to review how you can capitalize on your looks, voice, and skills for financial success. Medieval guilds required craftspeople to put trademarks on products to distinguish themselves against informal quality and protect themselves from informal quality. So if we just look at a few brand names that has endeared through the ages. In 1550, Beretta in Italy first put their brand on their guns. In 1688, Edward Lloyd started coffee shops and an insurance company called Lloyd's of London in London. In 1770, Grey Poupon in France started Dijon mustard. In 1880, Smirnoff vodka was founded. And an Atlanta pharmacist founded Coca-Cola in 1886. And today, that product is in almost every household. What is branding? What do we need to think of when we think of ourselves as a brand? It is a name, term, sign, symbol, or design or combination that distinguishes the goods and services of one group from that of another. What distinguishes you and your services and products from those of others around you? Let's look at the functionality. Why do we purchase what we purchase? I often used to say to my students, you don't sell the drill, you sell the hose. As an estate agent, you're not selling the house, you're selling the environment, the neighbours, the functionality, the warmth, a soft place to come home to. And as an example, I just wanted to use a vehicle that probably most of us are familiar with, the Mercedes-Benz. There's that evoked scent that comes to mind when we think of well-known products. But that same evoked scent comes to mind when we think of individuals. So if we look at Mercedes-Benz and the 6 levels of meaning that we attach to that German brand name automobile, the first attribute is it's expensive, well-built, durable, high prestige. What are the benefits? It's trustworthy, it's important, it's admired. What are the values? It's high performance, it's safe, the prestige attached to driving the vehicle. What is the culture we associate? German precision, efficiency and quality. Who is the personality who drives Mercedes-Benz? The no-nonsense boss. Who is the user? The top executive and not the secretary. And this is where my plan for the individual and not the company as a brand came in. Because I started thinking a bit about what do I reflect? Who is brand me? Who is brand you? What do you stand for? Would you buy from brand you? Remember that we said a brand symbolizes a certain quality level and it reduces the buyer's perceived risk of purchase. organization where you work or to that of your clients? What are your unique selling points? Basically, what are the benefits of doing business with Brand New? In consideration of the importance that we attach to personal appearance, I would urge you not to concentrate on any of your perceived faults, but to highlight your assets. Realize the potential of your appearance and enjoy a renewed confidence. Thomas Fuller said, "Good clothes open all doors." And I'm sure Solo Flair will be able to tell us all about it. Capitalize on your image. If needed, seek professional help. Learn style strategies. Prevent expensive mistakes. And learn to profit from your image. With regards to voice, volume, speed, tone, pitch of voice, and in this country I think in particular, even accent can play a role. But bear in mind that non-verbal behavior can oftentimes speak louder than words. Any discussion that is not taking place in your home constitutes a public appearance or public speaking. Even that which is happening on the internet. A lower tone is softer on the ear. Relax, let your voice drop and go down at the end of a sentence, unless if you are asking a question. The speed that you speak with, fast, enthusiastic, nervous, intelligent, or hurried, can convey certain meaning to the words that you are uttering. Pedantic slow speech could be equated with a parent-child relationship, or that you are unsure of yourself. Remember that our voices are like music. I took piano lessons when I was younger, and at the time we had to take those exams, and there was an hour's practice that was meant to go into this, and I would often just hurry through the scales, and my teacher often used to say to me, music consists of tone and silence, and the same with the voice. So try and avoid those ums and ahs. And remember that you sell and I repel. Be interested before you try and be interesting. So for those of us who are business owners here today, I want to just look at very briefly at 9 brand strengtheners. Develop creative advertising. So we've already spoken about, I mentioned earlier one of the brands, the Smirnoff vodka, Benetton. Creative advertising that's going to draw in your clientele. Sponsor well-regarded events, such as this event that April's put on here for us today. Invite your customers to join a club. Nowadays, that's probably your Facebook page or Facebook group. Invite the public to visit your factory or offices or website. Create your own retail units. Monetize your website, monetize your blog to get your product in front of your clients. Give visible support to social issues like the homeless. Be known as a value leader. And in this country, I think, if we just think of one of our grocers like Waitrose, M&S, even the food section, that would be a good example, I think, of a value leader. Develop a strong symbol or spokesperson to represent your company. And here I can think of Richard Branson from Virgin, and for those of you who remember Colonel Sanders from KFC. And then of course there's Kate Middleton, who is the unofficial spokeswoman of the royal family. Let's look at how how we can market to our female clients. Connecting your female consumers to each other connects them to your brand. And I bring it back to what we said earlier about we are more the same than we are different. What is personal is universal. If you're marketing to one of her lives, you are missing all the others. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a businesswoman, she's an activist. If she has to ask, it's too late. Go to her. Go and meet her with the value you can supply. To her peripheral vision, and she will see you in a whole new light. And I think that's something that ICOS has really afforded us this afternoon here, where each and every speaker has had the opportunity to be part of something much bigger on a global scale, but to bring their product and their value to each and every one of us here this afternoon. Walk, run, go to her, and you will secure your female clients' loyalty forever. This generation of women consumers will lead you to the next. I see it with my own daughter. She's 18. She'll tell me she's almost 19. It's at the end of March. Many of those things that we used to have so many arguments about, she's now actually going in her wardrobe, whereas a few years ago she would say to me, "Mom, what were you thinking? I see the items disappearing." So connect with this generation and they will lead you to the next generation. Co-parenting is the best way to bring up a brand. Find partners in business. And lastly, everything matters. You cannot hide behind your logo. Service, quality, politics, nature, conservation. Tony Robbins says, we are motivated by pain and pleasure. And it's very important to know what motivates your customer. I want us to just very briefly look at, I think I've got about 11 here, current trends that's driving the market. Cocooning. People are retreating to the relative safety of their home environment. If you can bring a product or service to market to help facilitate this, you have got big business. Vanity, male vanity. This is where we see men taking a greater interest in fashion, in cosmetics, and even plastic surgery. Life lifting. A greater interest, as I've just said, cosmetic surgery, piercing, brighter coloured hair, and we see a lot of people wanting to express and show self-actualization because they feel that they are getting lost in the masses. And I think especially in London this is so prevalent. I write a blog called Work London Style, which is now read in over 140 countries, and I often write about fashion and business. And one of the things that I love to write about is the self-actualization that we see on our streets in Britain, where with the great street fashion, and I see some of them at this table. People putting their individual personality out there in the way they express themselves through their hairstyle and through what they're wearing. Atmosphere, and this fear is spelled F-E-A-R. Polluted air, contaminated water, and tainted food. If we can bring something to market to either alleviate people's fears or to provide these services for them, you again will be in business. Being alive, the awareness of good health, which our Pilates studio owner so aptly spoke about. Cashing out. People are looking for a simpler way of living. Planning, and this is where definitely social media and social marketing plays a huge role. Belonging to a group that represents common feelings, ideals, and causes. And this is where, like Clarissa Pinkola Estes wrote so well in her book, Women Who Run with the Wolves. Howl so your back can find you. Know who your client is. Speak to that one individual client. evolution. Women influence almost 90% of all purchases in a household. Yes, even a family car. Fantasy adventure. People want to travel. They want to experience roads untaken, 4x4 roads, and adventure travel. Pleasure revenge. Living well is the best revenge. And this is where we've seen so many different cookery programs, for instance, or lifestyle programs, or reality programs, because people want to have those small indulgences. And that's the last one, small indulgences, affordable luxuries, and people want to reward themselves. And this is why my coaching business is called Divine Luxury. And it has got nothing to do with a Prada bag that my husband so graciously gifted me for my last big birthday. It's got to do with those times that you're going to afford yourself. One of the biggest luxuries for me is my daily walk, come rain or shine, on the Thames. It costs nothing other than a comfortable pair of shoes. A special bar of soap. Affording yourself the time to have a cup of tea with your mother, your family, or to switch on Skype and Skype a family member in a far-off country, because we live in such a global society now. Quite often we don't even know our neighbours. And lastly, attitude is everything. If you believe you can, you will. Everything is figure-outable. I think the ladies around my table this afternoon, I'm in my 50s, and so were the ladies, if they don't mind me saying it, at my table. And I am so excited for my generation of women who have embraced the internet, who are embracing their looks, their skills, and their experience, and going out to serve others. Your clients are out there. Let them find you. Life is so much easier when you show up with a positive attitude. You become this visible when you're negative. Have your current circumstances work for you. Start where you're at. Beginning a new business is much like having a baby. There's the fantastic place and the excitement of conception. And then there is that long period of uncomfortable and growing uncomfortable pregnancy, and a change of identity. The joy of the birth, and when you've launched the business, and then long sleepless nights to bring up the baby. Take possession of yourself. Taking possession of yourself and your abilities is not trainable, but it's claimable. If you want the best personal development plan, start your own business. Take the stand for the and do not get in your own way. And remember that you are the flower and the garden. You need to put on the water, put in the fertilizer, nurture yourself before you can flourish. Become the woman who goes beyond the fantasy and claim your success. Become visible. And I think many of our speakers this afternoon have spoken about visibility to various degrees and the challenges that they've had around visibility. And for myself, my daughter's just left home to go to university. It's the first time she's living on her own in France. And after 18 years of that very strong identity, obviously we speak every day, it goes without saying, but where you've had that 18 or 19 years of very strong identity as a mother, a working mother, a partner, a wife, it can sometimes be quite difficult to become visible again, especially if the last time you were visible was approximately 20 years ago. And this is where I want to talk about 3 different types of women, especially if you're a business owner or a new business owner. Let's look at the first lady. She knows, you know who she is, and you know what she does.